Welcome. Good to see you guys. Would sadness go away if I dispelled my greed and gave it all to someone else in need? Would hatred disappear if I planted the seed and gave my love to those who made me bleed? But I'm so tired of this pain that no one understands my need for change. If I walked the pilgrim's path, could I become a saint and give my love completely to restraint? Could I see all my faults as a chance for love? Would it make me wise, make me humble enough? But I'm so tired of this pain. No one understands my need for change. And if I loved the world enough, could I see the face of God? Could I see the face of God? Could I see the face of God?
Thank you, Teresa. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you, Teresa. Another round of applause, maybe, for her? Yeah. Great. Well, good morning, Unity of Omaha. Are the lights back on? That's what I want to know. You all have power now? We got the power. We got the power. That's wonderful. Good to know. Yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks, but we're on our way back, right? And the weather's nicer, and so, well, welcome. Welcome to everybody in the sanctuary. Welcome to the people who are listening online. My name is Terry Myers. I'm one of the meditation leaders, and I like to get up here every once in a while and welcome people as well. So World Day of Prayer is coming up next week, and we're going to have a meeting after service today. The World Day of Prayer is September the 11th and 12th at Unity Village, and we're getting together to decide, who wants to go down there, because we've been invited especially to go down and participate in this event. So today we meet after service out in the cafe, in the flex space out there on the other side of the cafe. So I hope you can come. If you're interested in learning a different way to interpret the Bible, in different way we mean metaphysically, you can register through the e-blast or emails for the Bible interpretation class that Reverend Brenda is going to be teaching. It's called Revelations on Tuesdays. We're meeting at 11:30, either Zoom or in person, or 7 o'clock by Zoom. This starts August the 13th and runs through September the 10th. So we hope you sign up for that. Circulation Day is next Saturday. It just came up on us so quickly. And we are collecting the items this week. So hunt through your kitchen, see if you've got anything you want to give away, anything in your garage, in the basement, closets, whatever. And we drop them off. The times are listed there when you can drop off those items that we'll put in Circulation Day. Circulation Day, if you're not familiar with that, is like a big free garage sale that we have. And invite your neighbors to donate. Maybe you can collect stuff from them. Invite them to come. And so the pet ministry is also asking for non-expired pet food treats as well. So we hope that you'll drop things off and then you'll come and support Unity on Circulation Day. And speaking of volunteers, can you help count? I loved what Flip did last week. She says, if you have fingers, you could be on this committee. So we're looking for a few people to use their fingers and toes to help count the celebration offerings immediately following service. It takes about 5 minutes. And if you're interested, you can talk to Jerry or the office. Getting to know your community. Would you like a name tag? Wouldn't you love to just be able to come up to somebody and know who they are by their name tags? So if you'd like to have a name tag, that will be kept here for you if you'd like. They're the little lanyards that you see the board members walking around with. You can sign up on a list that's out there at the ticket booth. Infinite Possibilities is a class that I teach at my own learning center, and I'm bringing it here to Unity starting in September for 4 weeks, starting September the 7th. And the best way to explain infinite possibilities is, we create our reality. We know that because that's principle number 3 for Unity's teachings. And it's like we're born with this stack of lottery tickets, and they're all winning lottery tickets. Okay, picture this for a moment. And everything that you want, you ask for, and it is given. All you need to do is learn where and how to redeem your lottery ticket. So let's say you want a really nice vacation, you want more abundance of money for a vacation or whatever. You ask for it, and then you learn how to claim that because the universe is going to give it to you. So that's what the class is about, is how do you set yourself up to deliberately and consistently get what you are asking for in life. If you're interested in that course, I have more information and flyers in the back of the sanctuary, also in the bookstore. We have a sliding scale for your donation. It would be $39, $49, or $99 for a 4-week course. If you contribute at the $99 level, you will get the book and the workbook for free. And a couple of people have done that already. I've seen people walking around with the books today. So it's a fun way to support Unity and also to learn. So Drumming Circle is today. Phyllis Russo will be conducting that in the history room. So that's right next door. So if that is that's a really good, right after service. Okay. Good. All right. Well, now is the time for meditation. If we could have the lights dimmed a little bit, please. Nice. Nice. And here at Unity, we know that prayer and meditation is very important. And so this time of the service is a hybrid, really, of meditation and affirmative prayer. Meditation, there are many types of meditation, and we've experienced quite a few of them here in the last few weeks. You can do meditation just for stress reduction. You can do meditation for contemplation, to contemplate something. And that's what we did a couple of weeks ago when we looked and contemplated the idea of change. Today, Pramila, at the 9 o'clock meditation circle, she had us meditating to connect more completely and with divine source. So today we're going to be doing an inquiry meditation. It's something I did last week at the 9 o'clock service or the 9 o'clock circle. And one of the people in that group, Jesus, asked me, well, if I'm asking for guidance about something, how do I know that it's God who's answering? And I said, it's really easy because God is always gentle and quiet. God will always answer in a gentle way. Kind and loving. God might say, why don't you try this or go this way? If you hear an answer that's a little harsh, sarcastic, sounds punitive, it isn't God who's answering. It's your human ego. So the other thing he wanted to say is, well, what if I don't hear anything? And if you don't hear anything in the meditation, don't be discouraged because you're still heard. God has still heard you. Thoughts may pop into your head later on. You may hear the answer come to you in lyrics from a song later on. The answer may come in a conversation that you're having with a friend. There's one person I know who gets her answers through Wheel of Fortune. The puzzles will give her the answer sometimes. And then we have our affirmations that we pick up when we're doing the walk of abundance. Sometimes I can get guidance from those as well. So if for a minute, if you just take a minute just to think about a question you might want to ask in this meditation, and begin to get centered, closing your eyes, taking those longer, deeper breaths, and relaxing into each of those breaths. Breathing in, holding it, breathing out. Take another breath in, hold it, breathe out. Another deep breath in, hold it, release. Continue that longer, deeper breath. Relaxing your body through your own body scan. Releasing any tension. Divine guidance is mine through meditation. All I need to do is ask for it. I focus my attention inward. I ask with clarity. I become still and listen. The small whisper I hear is the presence of God in me. I trust and follow the guidance, knowing that divine order leads me toward the people and situations that help me create my best life. Taking a deep breath and release. Another deep breath and release. Take a moment now and ask your question and listen. Ask the question again and listen. As we emerge from the silence, we are grateful for the guidance we have received. If we haven't heard anything yet, we know we will. We just need to stay aware and notice, be mindful. The message will come to us at the right and perfect time. So as you come out of the silence, wiggle your fingers and toes. You can open your eyes. Thank you very much.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Would I burn like Joan of Arc? Believe my words. No spark or fear of fire could make me denounce them. Could I stand like Dr. King? Believe the vision of my dream. No burning cross, a threat of death would take it from me. What would I burn for? Could I draw the racist draft? Could I stand for anything where I'd feel bullets whizzing past? Would I burn? Could I sit at Gandhi's feet, sit while surrounded by police, be the change I want to see, simply emanating peace? Could I have Mandela's heart, forgive my captors for their part, call them my equals? Well, from their prison I am released. But would I burn? Die for my beliefs? Could I be a burning light to point us towards our own release? Would I give my life just to do what's right? Would I give my life? I was born with wealth and skin. It absolves me of my sins. It gives me freedom to go where others aren't allowed in. I never had the need to fight, but now I stand up for our rights. And here I am. I demand we stop this spread of fear and lies. 'Cause what I burn for, I believe there are things we all can do to make a world of peace. It's what I burn for, and I'm asking for the proof. We have to have a world today that is based upon the truth. So I will give my life just to do what's right. Could I burn like Joan of Arc? Believe my words. No spark or fear of fire could make me denounce them. Thank you.
Good morning, Unity. Let's give her some more love, okay? When Terry was up here and when she said, think that you were born into the life and you hit the winning lottery, I heard what a lot of you were thinking. Yeah. So it don't work that way, though. Meaning that you just can't think your way into getting the lotto ticket. You have to be in alignment. Whatever that is for you, okay? So try being in alignment and maybe you win. And share it with your Unity family. Okay. Today I'm going to read from Infinite Possibilities, okay? And this is page 46. And before I do that, remember to always love those around you. Most of all, love yourself. Hug and love yourself every day. Okay? Whenever you catch yourself expressing an opinion in thought, word, or deed, realize that you've just nailed a belief that's busy at work building your life around you. Short and sweet. Thank you.
I guess I could have stayed up here. That was just... Gone through life with blinders on that I've used to block what I choose. And I believe in human kindness, that's why it hurts so much to be used. But when I catch a glimpse, some injustice completely blocks my view. It's then I fear I'm sucked back in to reality I tried to lose. But when the light glares down on my unblinded face, I feel the warmth I've missed in hiding and the cold of an unfamiliar place. But why can't I go on unrivaled? Why must conflict invade my space? Is this a key to survival? Me, the challenges you face. Choose your battles. Choose your battles well. One who seeks perfection, I get frustrated by the rest. But if that's just out of the question, I can convince myself that I could care less. So I'll appear undaunted. Still this confidence I lack, because I fear my mind could always stab me in the back. But when the light glares down on my unblinded face, I feel the warmth I've missed in hiding out the cold of an unfamiliar place. Why can't I go on unrivaled? Why must conflict invade my space? Is this a key to survival? Meet the challenges you face and choose your battles and choose your battles, choose your battles, da 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 da.
Hello? There I am. Woo! Yay! Got a lot of things. Okay. Thank you, Teresa. I just love hearing your voice. Yeah. It's wonderful. I am Reverend Brenda Peters. If you are here for the first time, can you raise your hand just so we can welcome you? Just say hey. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. We like to have fun at Unity of Omaha. So every Sunday they make me tell jokes. Did you catch that? Okay. Now I got to remember where I was at. All right. Okay. What do you call a sleeping dinosaur? A dino snore. I like that one too. Why did the math book look sad at lunch? It had too many problems to eat. Come on, that's a good one. You know that you remember these, and then during the week you go out and tell them. I know you do. I know. I hear it. Why can't pirates learn the alphabet? They keep getting lost at sea. All right. There we go. There's your jokes for today. All right. Moving forward. We are going to talk. We have been having a series this whole year. Oh, good. About metaphysically interpreting the Bible. And I know I just did one not too long ago, and then we did the 12 powers of will, and now it's the beginning of a new month, and so here we are again. And this month, I'm going to interpret the Sermon on the Mount. How many are familiar with the Sermon on the Mount? Just even vaguely. Okay, good. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's a new way to live. Okay, so this is Jesus telling people a new way to live. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the story, and then it's a huge, monstrous passage to go ahead and interpret. So because it's Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Okay. So what I did is I took what I thought was one of the most important lessons out of each. So we're going to talk about the Beatitudes. We're going to talk about the Lord's Prayer. I almost said that one prayer. The Lord's Prayer, and then we're going to talk about judging others, what Jesus had to say about judging others, okay? So we'll start off with the story. So Jesus was, starting to get into his ministry and doing a little healing here and there. And people were like, okay, who are you? And I think I want to just walk with you. And so they would follow him, random people. And at this time, Jesus had finally gotten the 12 disciples together that he wanted. And at one point, they come to a mountain, and he sees the crowd of people, and it hits him that he wants to teach. And so he sat down, which is part of the Jewish culture when you teach and you're a leader, is to sit down. And so he sat down with his disciples. Some people have a feeling that he did the sermon for everyone. It was just really for the disciples and maybe probably some fanboys, or fan people like, oh yeah, Jesus, I want a backstage pass. So whoever was in that area got to hear this sermon. And there are different, this was huge. This was so big. And I'm like, okay, how do I start? There were very many different authors that went ahead and interpreted this, especially unity. So the first, what I want to do is, this is Reverend Ed Townley, and he was a unity minister. He says, anyone who has ever been to a 12-step meeting is familiar with how it works. It's an excerpt from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that is read at the beginning of almost all such meetings. It's not a list of order and rules. It is a careful, loving explanation of what we can do to release old attitudes and behaviors and realize a happier, more abundant life. The Sermon on the Mount is, in many ways, Jesus' own how it works. His powerful precepts are not about right and wrong. They are not about denying ourselves or limiting our lives. They are guides to understanding how the power of God works in the world so that we can consciously work with that power to realize our greatest good. So that's just a little summation that he gave. The other one I'm going to give you is from Your Hope of Glory, and this is Elizabeth Sand Turner. And what she did is she metaphysically interpreted some of the scriptures in the Hebrew scriptures, or for those of you who know them as the Old Testament, and then also some of the Christian scriptures. Again, so some of you know them as the New Testament. And what she had to say about the Sermon on the Mount was this. Let's see here. The sermon is the new law. It is not meant to abrogate the reverted Mosaic law. So now the Mosaic law is when Moses came down with the 10 Commandments, okay? But it is to teach us how this law may be fulfilled spiritually. The first law given to Moses, and which came from the heights of Sinai in the wilderness, was accompanied by thunder and lightning. The new law was enunciated from the summit of a grassy hill in Galilee, probably from the elevation known, well, that's not important, but anyway. Here, a crowd gathers to see and hear the Master, whose words were spoken in quietness and love. The thou shalt not of the 10 Commandments is replaced by the words, blessed are you. Moses stated the law. Jesus explained the way to obey it. So, and not so much even obeyed it, but more of like challenging some of those laws or making a deeper spiritual understanding of the 10 Commandments. Because back at that time, you have to remember, people were so, if you did this, you were punished. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts. And so part of Jesus' ministry was, to come in and say, wait a minute, what about compassion? What about, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. This book is Sermon on the Mount by Emmett Fox, and he was a New Thought author. And he says, Jesus explains to us what the nature of God is and what our own nature is, telling us the meaning of life and death, shows us why we make mistakes, why we yield to temptations, why we become sick and impoverished and old. And most important of all, he tells us how these evils may be overcome and how we may bring health, happiness, and true prosperity into our lives and into the lives of others, if they really wish for them too. So this just gives you like an overall view of what the Sermon on the Mount was. It was huge. It was a lot of them also said that this was Jesus's like foundation of his ministry. And he just sat down quietly and gave it to his disciples and whoever else was in earshot. And that was the way and the nature of Jesus. Now for us in unity, Jesus is a teacher. He is not a savior. Jesus is someone who taught us, who gave us the spiritual blueprint on how to get into alignment with the divinity inside of us. He gave us a new way to live. So I'm going to get in. So everybody, if you're new to all of this, breathe. Keep breathing through this. And also, it's a lot of information. So I'm going to try to go fast so we're not here for 3 hours. Because it is a lot. So the first up is the Beatitudes. And I'm going to preface Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. Sorry, my book is very plain. Because he broke these down metaphysically. And he likes to call them be and then attitudes, like ATT. So be attitudes. And he also said Jesus speaks not of conforming, but transforming. So this first one, well, let me read this. In each case throughout the 8, there's 8 of them, be, attitudes. The blessed is a one-word definition of all the good that will come to you if you understand and live by these amazing attitudes of being. Okay? Attitudes of being. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So he breaks it down. Spirit is actually translated more pride, poor in pride. He also says to be poor in spirit or pride means to empty yourself of the desire to exercise personal will. So we just learned about will, right? And how there's 2 different, like your human will, that would be your personal will, and the divine will that you can step into and get into alignment with. So empty yourself of the desire to exercise personal will in the quest for self-realization. You cannot achieve an understanding of God through the intellect alone. Blessed are they who can let go of the attempt to understand intellectually, who accept the deep things of spirit as a little child. As a little child. That's one of the reasons why I like to have children in service with us, because it reminds us that we need to be in the spirit as a little child. Blessed are they who are teachable, open-minded, receptive to the truth, willing to renounce preconceived opinions and prejudices and entertain a new concept of life. It is not something you come to, but something that comes to you. It's an inward revelation. So it's inner work. and it's letting go. So here is the first attitude of being. So what Eric Butterworth did was he also gave you an affirmation after metaphysically interpreting all the Beatitudes. So the first of the attitude of being put in form of an affirmation treatment is, I am open and receptive to the inflow and the outpouring of all there is in God. So let's go ahead and say that together. I will say it and then you can say it. I am open and receptive to the inflow and the outpouring of all there is in God. All right. So now we go on to the second one. Blessed are those, for they will be comforted. Many people refuse to open their minds to the truth until they are backed against a wall. Whoever has done that? I mean, I fess up to it. You know, they all say, like, foxhole prayers. Oh, please, if you get me out of this, I swear, I will go to Unity of Omaha every day, all the time. Right? Until they are driven to their knees. In this instant, the sorrow may be a good thing, for a blessing may well spring from the fact that in the desperation of their sorrow, they're willing to let go. So Jesus is saying the man who sorrows is fortunate, for in his sorrows he may come to experience God's presence in his life. So when we're in grief, when we're in the trenches, when there are times that we're like, where is God? Where are you? What's going on? What's happening? Why? When we're in that why state, when we're sad, when we're depressed, a lot of times we turn to God. And this is when God hands you the keys and says, start the car. You have it. You have all the power you need. You can change this. Change your thoughts. Change your thoughts. However, the human of us tends to settle into ruts and routines. Hey, I think we all realized that when there was no power. Right? How many of you turned on the light and there was no light? Ruts and routines, yeehaw. And to resist the growth demanded by the expansion potential of our own divinity. Thus, it may well be that when some great problem comes to us, it is fortuitous blessings because it leads us to stir up the gift of God within. How many of you actually had to sit down and read for entertainment when you lost power? Or go to bed early because there is nothing else to do, right? Right. And if you stand firm in your ruts and routines, I hate this is rotten, blah, blah, blah. That is your thinking. That's the thinking that you can change. Change your thinking into, you know what? I'm going to bed early. And hey, I feel a new routine coming on because I'm learning from something that wasn't pleasant, but it showed me that I can do things differently, right? So here's the other affirmation, second affirmation, and we'll say it together. I am grateful for challenges that lead me beyond my extremity to God's opportunity. That was good timing, right? Okay. So here's the third one. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. And Eric Butterworth says his teachings always dealt with the now experience. Meekness is an approach to people. He is referring to an attitude toward God. He recognized, and they're talking about Jesus, Jesus was a simple carpenter's son who had found spiritual unity with God. And in this discovery, he had tapped the secrets to the universe. Kind of like the lottery tickets we were talking about. But he knew that the miracle working power that was now his, came not to him but through him. As long as he was in tune, he could do all these things. So he realized if he was afraid of God, if he wasn't in alignment with his divinity, then he didn't have his power, one of the 12 powers, right? He wasn't in that alignment. But when he was in alignment, anything was possible. And he showed that. I'm going to give you a little story, a little example of this that's, well, it's old now, but this is one that Eric Butterworth gave us. The great tenor Roland Hayes, always used to pause for a moment of quietness with eyes closed when he faced his audience for the first time in a concert. He was once asked by a reporter what was he doing. A humble man, Hayes was hesitant to reveal his secret. But eventually he admitted that he was praying. When he asked what he was praying about, he replied, "I just got quiet and receptive and say, 'O Lord, blot out Roland Hayes, that the people may only hear thee.'" That is the meekness that compels God. Einstein said that great ideas came to him after he had relaxed and ceased from strenuous search for his objective. The meek or receptive mind invites God ideas. Invites God ideas. When we're in meditation, like today, we're inviting God's ideas. We're linking up to that connection and we're hearing possibly what we need to hear. Work hard to get these consciousness of meekness, which is the taming or harnessing of your inner potential, and you will become a master in your field. You will inherit the earth. So here's our third affirmation. I am in tune with God. That which is God-inspired and God-directed shall prevail. Okay. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Our studies of the gospel that Jesus is dealing with but one thing, states of mind. So when a big part of metaphysically interpreting the Bible is to remember that we're dealing with states of mind. Your consciousness, your subconsciousness, and your superconsciousness, or that alignment to your divinity. Jesus deals with attitudes, not platitudes. Who remembers my bell? That almost sounds like a platitude itself, doesn't it? Jesus remembers attitudes, not platitudes. Okay. So, no matter what your need, you can be transformed by the renewing of your mind. A right attitude is the key to any desired good. Want it enough? Let go of your feelings of self-pity and the satisfaction that comes through the symphony of this symphony. Woo! The sympathy and attention of others. So let go of that self-pity. So we're not talking about being righteousness, we're talking about right thinking. right thinking. Again, that alignment with your divinity, that connection. So here's another story that he told. The story is told of a mystic teacher of India who used an interesting technique to impress his students with the importance of hunger and thirst for righteousness. He would take a student into the river, plunge his head down under the water, and forcibly hold it there until his lungs were fairly bursting. Finally, after letting him up, the teacher would ask, "What were you thinking about? What did you want more than anything?" The student would always reply, "Air. I wanted air." "Ah," the teacher says, and when you want God as much as you just wanted air, you will be filled. When you want God as much as you wanted air, you will be filled. The fundamental idea of Jesus' teaching is that man is essentially a divine creature. So here's our other affirmation. So say it after me. I seek with all my mind and heart, and I shall find. Okay. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. This attitude reveals the law of consciousness. Remember, states of mind. Life is lived from within out. You may not always be able to change the world around you. Remember, no power. But you can change your thoughts about the world, and when you do this, you change your world, which is a world of your thought. Oh, he goes on, I love this. He goes on to say, this is a hard lesson for most of us. We are not conditioned to believe that we can solve our own problems, which is, Unity teaches, that you can solve your own problems. We teach that you are in charge of your thinking. And people with the world, that we can solve our own problems with people and with the world by an inner adjustment. We are inclined to think, if my wife would just stop nagging, if my boss would just give me a break, if the weather was not so bad as usual, if this or that or the other thing would happen, then I would be happy. Right? Then I would be happy. Decide what kind of world you want to experience, the kind of friends you want to have, the success you want to achieve, and the kind of conditions you would like to see manifest in your home, your neighborhood, your office, and begin to think the kind of thoughts that will draw them to you by the irresistible force of consciousness. Sounds a little bit like law of attraction, correct? Here's our affirmation, so please say it after me. I keep my thoughts centered upon only those things that I want to see manifest in my life. Okay, hang with me. We just have a couple more. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Don't let the apparent block the real, he is saying. Oh, yeah. But life is whole, even though man only sees part. Even though man only sees part. Don't let the apparent block the real. Don't let the apparent block the real. So this is even though it looks like this, that's not the reality of that. However, what the eyes report is determined by what the mind believes. By what the mind believes. Shakespeare reflects this concept when he says that there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. You're kind of getting the flow of all of this, right? I'm not going to read that part. Man is not in the world to set it right, but to see it rightly. And right seeing is the passport from illusion to the heaven of accomplishment. If you want to change the world or be influenced for such a change, you must begin within yourself by changing the way you see the world. Get back to principle, a whole universe, and a whole man. So let's go ahead and say this affirmation together. I see the world not as it is, but as I am. And I am in spiritual unity with God. Come on. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. So man is a spiritual being, a true child of God in spirit, but he only becomes this in fact and expression when he is attuned to the infinite and expresses his God potential of love and peace. You have to affirm. This is all about affirming that you are a child of God, affirming that you are divine, believing that, believing it. Because if you don't believe it, then just like the other beatitudes that we've heard, it's not going to happen. It's not real. So let's say this affirmation. I am a child of God, and I act like one. Sorry. I'm just seeing all of us go, I want my way, Yeah. I am a radiating center of peace and love. Okay, so here we are in the last one. Woo, right? This is a lot. Like when I sat down, I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks, Connie. Blessed are they that have been persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The emphasis is on attitudes. It deals with our thinking. Big shocker. The persecution takes place within our mind. How many of you have a jail within your mind? Yeah, me too. You have the key too, just FYI. And the persecutor is an errant thought of our own mind. Wherever there is temptation, there is aspiration. Wherever there is a conscious over human weakness, there is an evidence of awakening divinity. So let's go ahead and say this lovely affirmation. In my quest for truth, I press on past my humanity to a deepening awareness and an increasing releasement of my potential divinity. I know that was a lot. Sorry about that. All right. So now we're going to go on to the Lord's Prayer. I don't think I have a slide for this. Yeah, I do. Yay! So here, we're now on to Matthew 6, and here's the Lord's Prayer. So this Sermon on the Mount was a big deal because he told you the Beatitudes, then he told you the Lord's Prayer. So this is a big thing, especially for the Christian faith, because a lot of this comes from Matthews 5, 6, and 7. Okay? So as you can see with the Lord's Prayer, it doesn't have the, and thy kingdom come and blah, blah, blah. That was added later. So Jesus didn't even say that, which is a t-shirt I am going to get. I saw somebody had it, and I'm like, ooh, I want that. Can't tell me where you got it, so I'm going to find it. Okay, so the Lord's Prayer, first of all, is not a form of pleading or beseeching addressed to a distant God. It is clear and simple affirmative prayer. Everybody wants to know what affirmative prayer is. There you go. In perfect and powerful alignment with unity principles about the nature of God, our relationship to God, and the creative spiritual work that is ours to do. So let's break this down really quick, because I know we're going past time. Our Father, which art in heaven. Now remember, this was Aramaic language back then, okay? So through the translations, it's lost some stuff. So with Reverend Ed Townley, he gives us part of the Aramaic. And he said, basically, that this is our Father in heaven is our relationship to God. You know, you're God's child, right? Divinity in here. But in the Aramaic, the reference is neither male nor female. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Vibrationally, it connects us to the creative energy of all the universe and energy within us. As Jesus tells us, it is elsewhere in his teachings existing in us a divine potential. A divine potential. And I just love how Elizabeth Sand-Turner broke it down also. And hopefully I can find this quickly. Yes. So our Father, she says, the one that all share. That's it. Oh, and art in heaven, the spiritual realm. Remember, in unity, we don't believe heaven is up in the clouds or up in the space or something. It's a state of consciousness here on earth. Spiritual realm. Okay, so now, hallowed be thy name. The vibrational energy of the name of God is sacred. It vibrates within us. That vibration to define our very being. And by seeing ourselves as the temple of God's energy. Okay? So, hallowed be thy name, holy in nature. You know I'm all about simple. I love holy in nature. All right. Thy kingdom come. The Aramaic, in Aramaic, this phrase is, and I am not going to even attempt to say it, but one part describes a bridal chamber, site of union and fertility, and the other part comes from an ancient name for divine mother. It refers to a womb. The overall image in Aramaic is that we nurture and give birth to the kingdom of God within us. Within us. And Elizabeth says, the wholeness of my spirit be manifested. So as you can see, even metaphysically, this can be broken down different ways. It depends on where this person, this author is. So when you start doing metaphysical work, it depends on where you're at in your life, in your spiritual path. Okay, so now we are on, give us this day our daily bread. This is the first actual prayer request in the prayer. Here we shift from a focus from God to self. In the Aramaic, it's both bread and understanding. I will birth your heaven and you will see my needs. So Elizabeth says, oh wait, I missed something. Your will be done. Sorry. Let's go back to your will be done. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be. So thy will be done is God perfectly expresses in that sacred womb within me. With this affirmation, I choose to let the inner possibility and the outer manifestations be the same. In the Aramaic, the word translation as will means heart's desire. Again, having a union with God. So thy will be done is thy perfect will come into expression on the plane of manifestation, earth as it is on its spiritual heights. So forgive us this daily bread. For her, it's all that is necessary to sustain life. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. And forgive us our debtors. So Elizabeth says, as we forgive others their trespasses against us, we are forgiven. Reverend Ed says, the Aramaic word means failure, mistakes, as well as secret debts. And tense is important. We must have forgiven others before we can claim our own forgiveness. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. This is perhaps the least understood portion of the prayer, Elizabeth says. God, who is perfect good, can never bring or leave us in temptation, but it is undoubtedly true that we are tested. This portion of the prayer asks that we may be delivered from the seeming powers of evil. And remember, evil in unity is error thinking. And also Reverend Ed says, it's absurd to think that God might lead us into temptation. The Aramaic phrase is rather, don't let us remain in. So help us to change our thoughts. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. Oh, wait. Let's see. And leads into temptation or evil. Okay, so this is where this was added. Where we say, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. It's recognized that God is the giver of all good, and we acknowledge his supreme. So that's what Elizabeth said. But Reverend Ed said this of course may not be the original. It isn't in the earliest translations, but it does follow accepted Jewish form of a closing prayer. So in Aramaic, it might be, though you the kingdom through the energy of life, through you the harmony of all things. It only touches lightly on the metaphysical depths suggested in this familiar prayer. So that is the Lord's Prayer broken down. I know that was a lot. And now we're going to get to this, and I'm going to reel through this really fast. So judging others. This is in now Matthew 7. Hello. Do not judge, for you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And I love this clicker. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So we're going to go into Emmett Fox a little bit with this. The plain fact is that this is the law of life, that as we think and speak and act towards others, so will others think and speak and act towards us. So how many of you came in here and said, oh my gosh, Reverend Brenda's wearing wicked, weird pants? Either way, that's a judgment, right? That's a judgment. So as we judge others, we are judged. Kind of like that law of attraction thing. Equally true that for every good deed that you do, for every kind word that you speak, you, in the same way, at some time or other, will get back an equivalent. And he goes on to say, not necessarily from the same person. The law finds that the true application, and they will see that the one thing that matters in the last resort is to keep their thoughts right about other people, even as about themselves. And so who remembers the golden rule? Right. So the golden rule in New Thought is Think about others as you wish them to think about you. Oh, that takes away all the fun, doesn't it? Dang it. Now I got to think good about others? I can't say don't like those dopey pants she's wearing. I mean, and then this is the scripture again. You know, what you do, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there's a plank in your own? You hypocrite. Can you just imagine Jesus? I can, because I love it when he's real. Like, you hypocrite. First, take the plank out of your own eye and throw away your clicker. And then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brothers. So again, it's internal work. You can't go around going, I don't like those people. I don't like this. I don't like that. Because it keeps you stuck in that energy of not right thinking. So we need to get back to right thinking. We need to get back to communion, or union rather, with the divinity inside of us. I know this was long. Thank you all. I thought about doing 2 Sundays, but I just wanted to bang it all out. It's a lot to think about. So if any book you would like, let me know, and we'll talk. If you need it ordered, we'll order it. But it's a really good depth on a new way of how to live. All those 10 commandments were really like, and Jesus went, hey, wait, there's a compassionate, more way to live. He talks about divorce, he talks about murder, he talks about adultery in this whole sermon. He talks about real life thing and says, basically, compassion. Have compassion for yourself and for others. And change your thinking. So I hope you got something out of this. And I hope that you will live your life in a new way. Namaste. So if you have been supported by Unity of Omaha, please give your gifts through text 402-543-5339, or you can go to our website, unityomaha.org, click on donate, or by the mail. And for those of you coming up, please go ahead and put your love offering here, and make sure you take a lovely affirmation. And mine is, I put my energy into things that matter to me. All right. So let's all say the prosperity affirmation together. I am worthy of living a life of prosperity.
Grateful to the mountains for reminding me I'm small, showing me the way to hold my head up tall. I'm humble before nature, painting picture perfect scenes on this canvas that we live in, and is constantly changing. This world. I love this whole wide world. I'm grateful to the paper and the pen with which I write, for being midwife to my thoughts, bringing them alive. I'm humbled by the muses. They've given me the songs that have helped me through my days, made my nights seem not so long. I love this world, and I love this whole wide world. I'm grateful to my parents for bringing me to earth. My family, friends, and lovers for showing me what my life is worth. And I'm humbled by this moment, because it's all we ever have, and the power that's within it to give us peace. Peace at last. And I love this world, this world. I love this world, this world. I love this world, this world. I love this whole wide world.
Okay, so let's go ahead and bless all the time, talents, and offerings that we have here today, knowing that this love, this energy, this vibration of harmony and gratitude and abundance comes into Unity of Omaha. And as it comes in, it goes out to Unity Worldwide Headquarters, Unity Worldwide Ministries, and Silent Unity, and also the community of Omaha, knowing that we are here. We are one, and we are together to make a better world. And we have to start inside first before we go without. And so it is. Amen. All right. Remember, after service, Merritt will be in the Prayer Peace Chapel to hold you in prayer. So if you do need to be held in prayer, please go see him. Also, after service, in the flex space, which is not the cafe here, but right behind the cafe, the flex space, if you want to, or even want to think about going to Unity Worldwide, or Unity Prayer, the Worldwide Day of Prayer, please meet me there. We'll do it really quick, so that way if those of you want to go to the drumming circle can at noon, okay? All right. So please join me for the prayer of protections, because I say the whites and you say the yellows. Unless you're Deb, you say it all. All right. So the light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Go live a new life.
When I was 12 and tried to play the saxophone, I thought as time would squeak and I'd moan and groan. Then I got inspired to learn all the skills I hone. Now music is the best thing I've ever known. gets. When you were born, you arrived too soon. Well, I saw a tiny baby, but I wasn't fooled. Inside my heart and my mind was a full-grown you. I knew the big, strong man you'd grow into. Things will get better. All that it takes is believing. It's the first step to seeing it all the way. Things will get better. The more that you bet, things will get better. Better it gets. Yeah. From my clear vision comes a new big love. And out of my heart can come everything I dream of. If I use my mind, I find how much we can rise above. And now we're coming out of the darkest years, yet full of sickness and sadness and violence. Looking back at time to see how far we progressed. Humankind can overcome the worst of itself. Things will get better. All that it takes is believing. It's the first step to seeing it all the way. Things will get better. All that it takes is believing. It's the first step to seeing it all the way. Things will get better. The more that you bet, things will get better. Better it gets. You want to clap, Susan? All right, we'll do it. Things will get better. Believing is the first step. Things will get better. You guys are awesome. Believing is the first step. Keep going. Things will get better. Believing is the first step. Things will get better. Believing is the first step. Thank you so much. Thank you.